Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Mac Rowe. I'll be one of your hosts this evening. The other host, he's sitting to my right. You all know him. You all love him. He's the greatest. He's the greatest co-host. He tells it like it is. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am absolutely great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there, buddy.
All right. Oh, wait. No. Hanging in there. You need to be more than hanging in there. You need to be... You're not a cat. You're not a poster.
Well, I said last week how I was trying to get more sleep, you know, and I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
It just kind of backfired. I think my subconscious mind is rebelling against my imperative to sleep more and better. So now I've backlashed into insomnia. So,
well, honestly, have you tried this cure for that? Instead of trying to sleep for a full 8 hours, go for a little 4 hour, a little nap here and there.
I've never been a good napper. I either I sleep way too long, or if I get up too early, then I'm totally disoriented and non-functional for a long time. So I feel like once I'm asleep, maybe I should try it again. I wasn't a good napper when I was young. Maybe now that I'm hitting middle age, maybe I'll be better at napping.
Yes. Naps are great. Like, that's one of the things, like, everybody's always said, like, what's something you miss from your childhood? Naps, man.
Yeah.
Like, naps. Like, being able to just in the middle of your day, you're tired, you're getting frustrated, doing all your work, your teacher's getting on your back.
Right.
Dude, go take a nap.
Wake up,
have a snack, and feel a lot
have
better.
The snack when you wake up.
That's what we did, yeah.
That's a good call. I don't remember taking naps when I was little, but I don't really, my earliest memories are maybe 5, 6 years old. So I'm imagining I was napping up until that point, at which point I stopped napping and have since then been a non-napper. So, I've pulled over on long drives before and napped at a rest stop, slept for an hour or two and continued driving. So I guess, I can power nap, but that's purely out of necessity, not out of enjoyment.
Well, you know what might help with that?
What's that?
Ketamine.
It
might.
Yeah. Well, really not for me, but it might work for some people. I've tried, when I traveled a lot more for work, I would use melatonin.
Yes, absolutely.
And really small doses, like 0.75, and it seemed to help, at least adjusting to different time zones and what have you. It seemed to help with that, but I should have a good sleep cycle going on, and it's just not happening lately. So
we need to fix that.
Yeah,
I will stop calling you in the middle of the night.
Well, that would help. But I don't. When you have a good idea, you got to get it out there, right?
Exactly.
So I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. So I guess we can launch into one of our segments if you want.
We could, absolutely. Which one would you like to go to?
I'm pretty thirsty. I think we should go into our famous segment. What the fuck are we drinking?
What the fuck are we drinking? All right. What the fuck am I drinking is it's a terrapin. It's called the Hopsecutioner. It's an IPA.
Hopsecutioner.
It's a beer company out of Athens, Georgia.
I see the words Cascade, Centennial, Warrior, Amarillo, Simcoe, and Chinook on the side.
And those are all types of hops. So when they're saying Hopsecutioner, that's got, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
They were like, 5, you like hops,
6.
bro? We'll put 6 types of hops in here, man.
6 hops. But yeah, the cover,
sounds like a hop party.
Can art for this is great. It's a little Ninja Turtle looking thing with a guillotine getting ready to cut off the heads of some hops.
Oh, wow. He is executing those hops, isn't he? Oh, that sounds great.
It absolutely does. Just like I'm about to execute this. Would you like to?
No, I'll toast you here, buddy.
All right.
I'm just, I'm white clawing it tonight. Drinking the claw.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Martha Dump Truck in the flesh. Wow.
It's probably very complex.
That's got a lot of flavor to it. You have to try that.
I'll take a little sip.
You need to try that. That's
Terrapin.
If you're an IPA lover and you like hops, that's got a lot of hop flavor without it being too bitter and too overpowering. That is a great IPA.
Yeah, a little too hoppy for me. It's definitely complex. There's a lot going on. You can feel the flavor profile across your tongue. The different from front to back and side to side. It's like different. The hops are all hitting each one of those hops. I can kind of feel it hitting a different part of my tongue.
And that's from them, I'm presuming, dry hopping it and then wet hopping it. So when they did their initial brew, they threw the hops in to get it kind of boosted it up.
Right.
But then after it started to ferment already, then they would have added more hops, and that's called the wet hopping.
Okay.
And that'll give you a different flavor profile.
But you don't. I like the hop wet.
Oh, yeah. But you're not going to want to leave it in there too long, because when you leave that in there too long, you're going to start to pull out a lot of the terpenes that are undesirable, a lot of the oils.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just like when I brew my tea.
Exactly.
I like to go for a minute and a half, you know. Like you said, get the terpenes out of there. You can go for a longer brew with certain types of tea, but normally I let it sit for about a minute and a half, and you get a good solid cup of tea.
Looking on the can, since I didn't do an actual pour, I can't tell you about the lacing or anything like that.
Yeah, we could have grabbed you a glass. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either, because I'm just canning it up. I'm trashing it.
Unprepared segment.
I'm trashing it this week. Like, you're being basic, I'm being trash.
Yeah, man. This White Claw is a hard seltzer. This is like if you took LaCroix and put a little shot of vodka in it or something.
So Zima.
Basically, yeah. It's 100 calories, 5% alcohol, black cherry hard seltzer. It tastes like black cherry hard seltzer. You know, it's not.
Everybody
great.
likes a good hard seltzer.
It's not great. It's not bad. We're in the 90s right now. It's been pretty hot out. I was outside.
I thought you said we're living in the 90s, because we absolutely are.
I mean, I've been accused of that, but there are worse decades to reside in, I suppose.
Oh,
the 90s weren't bad at all.
And that being said, this is a 7.3%, because you mentioned 5, so I wanted to put that out there.
Sure.
This is 7.3. It's not too bad. It's not overpowering either, so I
mean,
enjoy it.
I might recommend it to some of my snobbier hop-loving friends, but it's not something I would drink.
Well, I wouldn't recommend it to them, but because they'll start picking it apart too hard, but
sure,
I think it's great. It's not too bitter like I thought it would be. It's not sour like I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's got a good profile. Hit you in the back of the throat.
Yeah. We like hitting the back of throats here on the podcast, folks.
And not gagging.
I do want to say welcome.
Or gagging.
However you found us on the internet, welcome tonight.
Preferably by gagging. If you found us by gagging.
You know, teach their own. Teach their own. But, you know, I'm never going to yuck anyone else's yum here on the podcast.
No.
That's for sure. Whatever gets you off, we're glad you're here tonight.
We hope to float your boat.
I keep saying tonight, folks. You know, we do record this show at night, but you could be listening to this driving to work in the morning or
enjoying your bump of ketamine. Because it's been a long road.
I don't know why you keep bringing that up, but
I don't know. Ketamine just is a fun word to say right now.
We can discuss that off air, I suppose. But
so if you know where to get some ketamine, please get a hold of us.
Right now, it is tfitspodcast@gmail.com. That is subject to change, so you'll have to stay tuned. We've got our legal team looking into securing the rights to be called the Blowing Smoke Podcast, because we do blow a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke is being blown.
Up a lot of
orifices.
Rectal orifices.
Not even rectal. It's just all orifices. If you got something to blow smoke into, we will blow some smoke into it.
Penetrating and permeating smoke. I shouldn't do too many hard P's without the pop filter there. But anyway, you know, we're here. It's podcast recording night, and I think that I forgot what our subject is.
Our subject that we were going to discuss was part 2, left over from last week. And last week we were discussing memes.
Oh, right. I remember now. Yeah, so last week we were talking about the origin of memes and how the phrase was coined by Richard Dawkins in the late 70s.
Correct.
And he applied it to genes and genetics in the way that, you know, a meme was an idea or a concept or a functionality in a living organism that would perpetuate itself across many species, like eyes, mouths, right?
Correct. And I like to think of it how it's perpetuated us as a species even further, how we've used those memes that we've developed biologically into something that we've used to perpetuate us into the further realms out of the Stone Age via language.
Sure.
The way we speak, the accents.
The speaking animal.
It all determines by the social pressure. It's the social construct. Somebody said something and pointed to this, and so that's what it became, because everybody determined that's what it meant. So that in itself was a meme.
Sure.
And so you use a complex series of memes to create the language. And then those languages get spread, and then those societies and those locales will develop their own versions, their own memes based off of one standard branch. And then you get, different dialects and all sorts of different
Right.
ways to communicate.
Absolutely. I think we touched on how memes were used in society and in biology. We briefly touched on, the internet. I think we talked about You're the Man Now Dog and some of the early iterations on meme sites on the internet. But we didn't, I don't think we really got into language too much last week. So
no, we didn't.
Maybe we should talk about that this week.
Absolutely.
So there was a topic I had written down from last week or kind of bookmarked on the internet that had to do with memes applying to language specifically. So linguistic anthropology is an interdisciplinary study of how language influences social life. It's actually a sub-branch of anthropology. Just reading off the internet here that it originated from the endeavor to document endangered languages. It's grown over the past century to encompass most aspects of language structure and use. So, it seems pretty complex, but really it originally evolved to kind of try to preserve old languages, like dying languages, like maybe some of the Native American languages, the Aboriginal languages in Australia, the First Nations languages in Canada and, Northern Europe. Kind of those places where
there's dying Gaelic languages and
dying exactly.
Slavic
The
languages.
Welsh were swallowed up by the English. We still have a few Welsh and Celtic words that we use in our language, but for the most part, those were completely subsumed by that sort of I don't know, Latin Germanic language that eventually became English. The Germanic tribes, or what we would call Germanic tribes at the time, they were what have you, Gallic, or sort of, that's what the Romans called them, the Gauls, I think.
The Jews called them golems.
Right.
That was highly inoffensive, but
if you know your history, folks, if you know your history. So yeah, this is an interesting topic. I just wanted to kind of put our thumb on. I didn't really get a chance to read too much into it, but it's made up of several paradigms. The first paradigm being anthropological linguistics. Second paradigm is linguistic anthropology. Third paradigm, anthropological issues studied via linguistic methods and data. So they're applying a lot of scientific method to the construction of sort of narrative interactions across different languages and how like old stories are structured. And this is some sort of Joseph Campbell, Noam Chomsky, like, the archetype of the hero. Sort of stuff. And there's themes that basically perpetuate throughout culture, and memology, I guess we could call it, can be applied to this. So you can say that there's, for example, a flood myth that is in all these old cultures, right? This is
okay.
It's in the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's in some of the ancient Egyptian, all the way up, the Black Sea. So the theory is that could basically be a leftover racial or genetic memory of the end of the last ice age, when all that ice melted. There's probably a lot of settlements on the edge of the water, and when all this water came in, so the theory goes, it buried all these places. So this meme or idea of the flood myth perpetuated itself across every religion, every culture, sort of as a warning,
Don't build close to the water.
Sure, and
the water is life.
Yeah,
water is
and you want to be
forgiving.
close to the water, but just take caution to not put all your eggs in one basket, sort of like, the legend of Atlantis. We could touch on that as far as, this was supposed proto-culture that was highly advanced, that existed before the Greeks, before the Romans, before the Persians, before the Babylonians. And it is interesting to think about because history just kind of seemed to start. It's interesting how the earliest like Babylonian and Sumerian stuff is just came out of nowhere. Like there was nothing in the record, and then boom, you've got like fully developed language. And this touches on. I think we mentioned back in maybe the Origin of Language episode that we did a while back, how Noam Chomsky, who's a linguist from MIT and famous political activist, he posited this theory. It's kind of hard to explain in brief, but basically that we had the hardware, the hardware for language already. So the software just boots up spontaneously when, the situation arises, like when a bunch of humans are put together.
Well, just when the computer gets power to that part of the computer. I mean, when you turn it on, the whole thing doesn't boot up at once. So the power actually flows through it. It takes milliseconds to get there.
Yeah, there's
but
a
when
process.
you look at
There's a boot up process. You have to boot, the hard drive first and the disk drive and the... I should have had my bell a little closer. We'll take a quick break here for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the podcast. We had to step away suddenly there, but we're back.
It was a good time. It was a great time.
Sometimes you got to deal with stuff suddenly in the middle of a podcast.
Eddie Murphy drops by and you have to, give him the...
He was not happy at all.
He was not.
And anyway, we'll get into that another time. That's a whole other podcast.
Backside on the sippy side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you'll have to tune into the other podcast, if you know what I'm talking about, to get all the scoop on that. But anyway, I was talking to my friend here about, we touched briefly on language and how that, language is a meme, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's what it is. It distributes itself like a meme. If you like it, then you use it and you repeat it.
Sure.
And then if not, then you don't. And then society will accept it or not. And then it either succeeds or it fails.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some discussions with some Christian friends about, how Jesus and the Jesus story was really built on the old pagan myth of the, Osiris from Egyptian, for example, was born and died and born again. And basically how this was a meme that was perpetuated to teach the planting cycle of, harvest and plant and harvest and plant. And so that kind of perpetuated throughout society as agriculture perpetuated as a meme. We were hunter-gatherers for hundreds of thousands of years, probably, I would guess. I don't know. At least maybe the pre-human ones were...
Well, in some form or another, there were definitely going to be some hunters and there's going to be some gatherers and they're going to work together. And
all these little tribes probably had some kind of economy where there was a tribe that was better at hunting, there was a tribe that was better at gathering, and they would trade, and they had to use...
Or be taken over viciously and ravagely.
Sure. A lot of it actually points to a really peaceful development.
For the most part, yeah.
They found that cave in Siberia. I could pull up an article on it, but I remember
the midgets?
A little bit. Well, there were
the dwarves, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there were three different races of hominids. Yeah, there were the Denisovans, which we know about now, but we have very small bone fragments. They appear to be like a smaller race.
Pygmy, I believe, or something.
Well, these guys weren't exactly pygmies. They were
like
Denisovans, which were probably around like 5 foot on average.
Leprechauns?
They were smaller, but they were camped out with Neanderthals, and there were several generations living, cohabitating in this cave that they found, and this goes back, 40, 50,000 years. So none of this stuff is human, but there's evidence of other hominid species living together, and it didn't appear to be brutally, like they were cohabitating. So there were more Denisovans at some times, and there were more Neanderthals at other times. So the Neanderthals have been shown to be a less populous sort of sub-branch of the hominid species. That's not species, but the
race.
Yeah, no, I don't remember all my, King Philip, Kingdom, Phylum. Yeah, it's up the branch from us, from species, but somebody's yelling at the podcast right now because they know what it is, but I don't remember it right now.
Fucking moronitrons.
But anyway, so yeah, there's basically evidence of these cohabitations, and I think that's interesting because I think like language developed before humans, basically.
Yeah. No, it absolutely did, because you'd have to think about it. If you're going to communicate with somebody who's different than you, you have to have some sort of basic way to communicate, and whether it's verbal or non-verbal. And so if you make a sound with a gesture, then that sound's going to be interpreted as being what that word is for that, and then it's going to be accepted by both parties, and then it's going to be taken back to their subsequent tribes or groups or whatever, and then perpetuated again as it goes out further on.
Right.
So it's the virility of the meme. So it's something you both like, something that sounds good, something that's easy, something that's articulatable, maybe something that's just aesthetically pleasing, and then you're able to get that out.
Yeah, and the ability itself, the biological ability to produce language, that was the vocal cords and everything. That's a genetic meme, basically, that has allowed us to talk. And little did they know, to make a rough segue here, all
into
those tens of thousands of years ago. Well, I'm sure they were very
there's a purpose
hip to that back then, but because I don't think we were a monogamous species up until like very recently. I think.
Well, no, but there's what's the purpose of the female orgasm? Because the male orgasm is to produce ejaculate and to create sperm. The female orgasm, the female doesn't need to orgasm in order to perpetuate the
It's been
species or to be
selected for.
biologically.
I think it's there's not a purpose to it per se, but if you look at natural selection and how it works with evolutionary biology, it's been selected for in the way that it has produced more offspring, and that's why that we have it, because it was basically naturally selected for that was beneficial in producing more offspring of.
But it's not necessary though. But it is necessary for the man. If the man doesn't orgasm and ejaculate,
Right.
there is no offspring.
So if that
for the female,
increases male ejaculation, then it would be selected for naturally. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean it has a purpose. It just means that it happened. So, it was one of those.
it's like, why do men have nipples?
Yeah. Well, it was one of those mutations that basically, became useful. And so it was selected for.
It's men have nipples because we were supposed to be women at one point. Like there was no differentiation yet between men or women, and so the
you think
nipples
there was
are
like a hermaphroditic species.
well, no, it's in biology now. When you're in the embryonic stage and you're going into gender development before you're a male or a female, your nipples develop.
Oh, okay.
And then
yeah.
if
So
you're
the
female,
embryonic,
then you
yeah.
get some memories, and if you're a man, then you don't. So that's why we have the nipples there. But
Sure. Well, we actually have little tails too when we're in an embryonic stage that go away.
some people's
Our
don't.
muscles start as almost like lizard type muscles, and then there's other muscle built on top of that. And the brain itself, the core of it is kind of like a lizard brain, and then the rest of it. So when you're when you evolve through that or progress through that stage of embryonic development, you're actually it seems like you're really different species at different points. The genetic expression is happening in such a way that you can look like a lizard or what have you at different points, which is why I'm pro-choice. But anyway, to make a hard segue into actual memes, because that's what the people came here for.
They came here for the memes,
link.
yeah.
Is that I'm just here for the memes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so what's your favorite meme lately? What's your favorite meme of all time? I did some clicking around and actually surprised that there was actually some memes I forgot about.
Well, that's the point. Like memes aren't necessarily meant to live on forever. They're meant to be short-lived in all truthful and honesty. It's to progress to something else. They're never meant to be permanent. They're just more of a building block. And if you look at the memes like on the internet that we use for entertainment that we're about to discuss, in the same way as you look at it as, the building blocks of evolution, they're not meant to be permanent. They're meant to be temporary until you get to something better. Is to evolve. But as far as memes go, my favorite is always, always, always going to be "You're the man now, dog." And that's not even a meme; it's just the meme generator.
Yeah.
Because I invested so much time. A lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean that was my earliest introduction to kind of just the idea of potentially video, audio, all of that together.
Yeah.
As a little meme package, as like it's almost like the same leap that physics took when was it Niels Bohr? I think that defined the quantum packet.
Yeah.
It's like energy comes in little packets. Basically, it's not analog. It almost seems digital because it's like here's one packet, one photon of light of energy. So
yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
well, no, I get where you're going with it, but to
that information could be transmitted in that way. That was the earliest indication that you could just have these packets of information that can carry a lot of meaning, really. More so than you would expect from the contents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's little kilobytes of data, a picture, a little audio file.
But you're able to store massive amounts of information in just a little bit of data, and you're able to put out more than just a concept. You're able to put out full blown out ideas that have everything behind them.
Okay, so there's a few I forgot about. If we go back, of course, more recently we had Laurel and Yanni, which was an audio meme actually that had two sounds superimposed on each other, but people would tend to hear one or the other first. So that was a little craze in 2017, 18. And then all the way
Last
back...
year, there was a rap song that did the same thing. I'll link it in the description for this episode. But yeah, that'll be fun when people see what they hear.
Back in 2015, we had The Dress, which was like a gold-blue thing. Some people see blue, some people see gold. I forgot all about that. So, these were things. This blew up on Twitter. This blew up on Facebook, Instagram, back in the day, which is, at this point in time, who knows when you're listening to this? You could be listening to this in the future. You could be listening to this in the past.
You should be listening to this in the future.
Hopefully, that's
blow
usually
this shit up like you did in the future.
That's usually how this works. But
you can be ahead of the curve right now and blow this shit up right now, like they do in the future. I mean,
yeah,
be ahead of the curve.
there's Grumpy Cat. That's way back 2012.
Rest in peace. He died.
Yeah, he did pass away.
He did.
Yeah, yep. Poor kitty. But he lived a good life being a Grumpy Cat.
Rebecca Black. Okay, this will go
2011.
into.
Yeah,
I want to go back into kind of my point.
It was actually a song, but it was very cringeworthy, so it was like ironically popular, I guess.
It wasn't meant to be popular, but her parents were rich, and so they made her a video for her birthday because she wanted to make a video, and they did. And you can't be upset at that. I mean, you're gonna make your kid happy even if she can't sing. I mean, it's what you're gonna do. You're gonna make your kid happy.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that was the origin of it. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she was just like
no, she just wanted to make a music video, and so her parents let her make a music video.
Gotcha.
So
but they probably spent a lot of money on the production value and like having the audio production done and all that kind of stuff. So I got you. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Going back to 2010, we've got Double Rainbow. I forgot all about this. This was the guy that had a spiritual experience, maybe.
He did. More than it was a physical experience. I don't even know where
this propagated in 2010. I mean, this is early YouTube, right? Yeah. So.
Well, that's not early YouTube. YouTube's been around for a minute, but that's going to be...
Well, this would have been the first, 4 years, maybe, of YouTube.
No.
Yeah.
YouTube's been around...
2005, I think, 2004, so...
Maybe.
Double Rainbow was 2010, okay. So YouTube might have been, 6 years old at that point?
Yeah.
So this isn't super early, but, yeah, so I guess it was a YouTube meme. This would have been pre-Facebook, so this would have been, early MySpace, maybe, is where we saw this. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly even a Reddit.
I don't think I was on Reddit in 2010, but I was on Twitter. Might have been Twitter. Man, you go way back. You got 2007 was the origin of the Rickroll. And, the Rickroll can still be used. I just recently saw that
I still can't stand the Rickroll.
A professor got his students with the Rickroll for a homework link or something.
Yeah.
And they all had to click on the link and they got Rickrolled.
That's awesome. It would have been better if he would have made them have to type it in.
Yeah,
that way there's no blue links or whatever. But
yeah,
it
was like a no homework thing. But he made them go and click the link, and then he got rickrolled. So
that's awesome. But that makes it that one's just never been funny to me. Hate me, but
yeah, no, I've been rickrolled, and I have rickrolled others. I am ashamed to admit, but I did it.
And actually, that's one of my other favorite memes, and I quote it all the time without thinking about it. Change my mind. Say something controversial. Change my mind.
Yeah. That is, I just saw one of those today that was, I'm fucking up the U.S., changed my mind, and somebody had photoshopped Trump on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, see?
Yeah, it was very simple, very straightforward, communicated everything that needed to be communicated. And it was doubly ironic because the guy that originally did that was right-wing, kinda.
Yeah.
So, man, so according to this website I'm looking at right now, All Your Base Are Belong to Us is originated on Know Your Meme, or according to Know Your Meme, this originated on internet discussion forums as early as 1998.
Yep, I believe it.
So yeah, I was hearing All Your Base Belong to Us as an old thing in early, let's see. So I was probably...
That would have been a MySpace thing for sure.
I think I was playing Diablo 2 online, I want to say, around 1998, 99. A little bit here and there, so I'm definitely
I'm not going to say which websites I was hanging out because that's going to get personalized and local.
So anyway, Know Your Meme, according to Know Your Meme, this originated on discussion boards like 1998. So All Your Base Are Belong to Us, and we actually music project we were involved with at one point put out a song called All Your Base Are Belong to Us, but bass was spelled BASS, and it had a very memorable bass line, and we just thought it was very witty at the time. But you can actually find it on the internet if you know where to look.
And that kind of leads me into my next discussion of how the meme has kind of changed, because those were the memes that we knew. The memes now, they're not just about, I'm going to take that back. It went from being what we knew to being a competition, because then
on Reddit today, there's high quality GIFs. There's, I like the, what do they call it? Dank memes, and then there's another one where they fuck up the memes.
Yeah.
But
they do that for competition, but that's done more for fake internet points.
Yeah.
But now when you merge this with the phenomenon of YouTube, like we were just discussing, then you're getting the personal effect, and then now you have people competing for fame, and that's into one of the next meme things that I've been seeing is TikTok. Have you seen anything about this?
I have the TikTok app on my work phone. I won't because I won't install that shit on my personal phone. But I haven't used it yet. I've just wanted to dip my toes into it. Yeah, but it's kind of like a new Vine, right?
Yeah, it's like a new Vine.
But it doesn't like forward and reverse or something in the video. I've seen that kind of stuff.
You can do that. That's one of the things you can do. But
there's different effects that you can put on the video.
Yeah,
and
the whole purpose of the TikTok is, from what I've seen mainly, is to you get up and you lip sync to a song or a quote from a movie, or you do a specific dance to a specific song.
Right.
So you're doing very specific things, but it's you doing it. It's not somebody else. It's you. But you're competing for these likes and these rewatches and
sorry,
you're all good. To see so many different versions of how these people are going to interact with you, but you're doing it also to compete for fame because it is you. So the more people like you, and the more influence that you're going to get, the more sponsors you're going to get, the more things people are going to send you for free. And so it's leading it to a whole different form of narcissism that I've seen in our society that I haven't seen before. That's kind of slightly worrying to me.
Well, and the internet itself has its own, form of social behavior, trolling, they call it, or there's all kinds of weird aspects in our life that the internet has introduced that have affected meme culture and the propagation of memes throughout society. But I think you called it at the beginning of the episode, my friend. This is at least going to be a 3-parter, if not a 4-parter. So kind of like, they might not be sequential. Like we're doing a few episodes on the nature of consciousness, but I don't think they're all in a row. We're just going to kind of pepper them in here and there. But we are running out of time for this episode. So I think we should pick this up on the next episode, and that'll be part 3 in the origin of the meme.
Me.
What do you think? You got any final words? Did we missed a couple segments tonight because we were
Shut up, Heather.
Oh, is that what happened?
No, that's just what I wanted to say. That's my final thought on it. No, but really, it's as far as the memes go, no, we'll get into the part 3 because if I start down,
because we haven't even touched on, we jumped right into TikTok, but Vine, Snapchat. I mean, there's so much more to cover as far as like, how memes are currently propagated, the different ways that these different platforms have allowed memes to be transmitted. I mean, Vine was a thing for what, like a year?
Yeah.
Or something?
And some are more successful than others because Twitter, I mean, is a useful tool in any form of propaganda, whether it be for,
Yeah, but also for, organizing and that's how those flash mobs happen that we talked about, touched on earlier.
Yeah, and even with those flash mobs, I mean, all it needs is just a little bit of humor to get things started and get things going. Just a little bit of humor, and then it's
just
gone.
A little bit, folks. Well, join us next time for part 3 and the origin of memes. You want to go out hard? Or you want to go out soft? What are we doing here?
Always hard.
All right. We'll say goodbye then and see you next time.
Be excellent to yourself and each other. Have a good night.